Currently, full-time public employees accumulate 4.6 hours of sick time per pay. The new rate would become 3.1 hours per pay for full-time employees. Now again,
per pay, by the way, or per 80 hours? What is, how is
well,
it
it's per 80 hours,
okay.
And that's why I say per pay for a full-time employee.
Okay.
If they're a part-time employee, then obviously it's prorated based on the number of hours they work. And again, now that this provision, unlike the previous provisions, is subject to negotiation as part of the collective bargaining agreement. So, as part of the collective bargaining process, it could be increased, unlike the other provisions, which are absolute prohibitions. What that results in is approximately a 33% reduction in sick leave for county employees. The things that they didn't do that may have been more helpful in terms of a budgetary standpoint is you are still required as an appointing authority to roll over sick time year to year. You're still required as an appointing authority to give credit for sick time earned at another political subdivision as long as it's within 10 years of their departure from the previous political subdivision. So for example, if an employee works for the city of Canton for 10 years and accumulates X number of sick hours from Canton and then becomes a county employee, the county is required by law to transfer those sick hours with the employee as long as it's within 10 years of them leaving the city of Canton. So, if you have them then work 20 years for the county, now the county's and retire, or more than 10 years because the cutoff is 10 years. If they reach a point where they work for more than 10 years like for a political subdivision, the county's now required to pay for all of the sick time when they leave service by statute. So again, since I bangled it, let's say they work for 9 years for the city of Canton. They leave the city of Canton, they come to work for the county. They work for the county for a year. Now they've got their 10 years in. The county is required not only to pay, if they leave, not only to pay their sick time for the county, but all the sick time accumulated at the city of Canton as well.
Did it change the cap?
Yeah, there's a cap.
Maybe there's a
240 hours, isn't it?
Right.
I thought
Right.
the Senate Bill 5 changed something about the accumulation and/or rollover or cap of sick time.
Well, it changed the cap because, again, when you're talking about the payout, it's based on a percentage of the sick time to be accumulated.
Right.
You pay out essentially, a third of what it is, and so because you're reducing the number of hours, the cap is essentially reduced proportionally. And just to kind of put this in pragmatic terms, prior to SB 5, in order to get essentially a maximum sick time payout, if the employee was employed for 10 years with a political subdivision, they would have had to have missed fewer than 19 days during that time to get their max sick time payout. If now the same employee would have to miss fewer than 3.5 days in those 10 years to get their max sick time payout. And over 30 years, it's 57 and 10.5 respectively. So you can see the longer the employee is with the county, the fact that there is going to be savings for the county long term in terms of the payouts because, again, the number of hours you're accumulating are fewer. And so it's going to be a lot harder for employees to get that max payout because, again, when you're looking at, only being able to miss, 57 days over a 30-year period, or before, now you're only going to be able to miss 10.5 days over a 30-year period to get your maximum payout. Well, missing 10.5 days over a 30-year period, that's a pretty dedicated employee. Well, as the other change that they did is with regards to vacation accrual. Previously, by state statute, and I don't even know that all of our appointing authorities were even doing this before, but pursuant to state statute, an employee could be eligible for up to 6 weeks of vacation after 24 years of service. Now, after SB 5, it's capped at 5 weeks And this is one of those provisions, unlike the previous one, that is not subject to bargaining. You cannot increase it beyond that.